Hi everyone and welcome to another ScoreCEO tutorial. My name is Jasmine and in today's video I'm going to show you how to automate your sales process using workflow steps within ScoreCEO. Before we continue, if you are stuck at using any of our features or want a video on how to use our features, please leave a comment down below. I'll be more than happy to teach you. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos. Automating your sales process offers several benefits. First, it enhances efficiency by automating repetitive tasks, allowing you to focus on more productive activities. It also reduces manual tasks, saving you valuable time and resources. Improved client management is another major advantage, as streamlined processes help you stay organized and responsive to clients' needs. All over, automation can significantly impact your business growth and productivity. Now let's dive into the step-by-step process of setting up your workflow steps in ScoreCEO. We'll start by navigating to the configurations bubble that's located at the top right corner of your screen, and then we'll go down to the workflow settings. Here you would find your workflow steps. The first part of automating your sales process is making sure we have listed all of the steps that your team does in order to successfully complete the lead phase from the beginning all the way to the end when they're closing or if they decide to stop at any moment. Here we would find all of our enabled workflow steps and all of our disabled workflow steps. In the enabled workflow steps, you want to make sure you have it organized to best fit your business. That would be the step-by-step process from when you obtain a lead and what your salesperson should do each way during the process. Here, I currently have a certain setup that says I have the new lead, I have the lead that needs to be called, I have to obtain the credit monitoring, we have to fill out their plan that they've selected, we have to send out contract, we have to verify all the qualifying documents, make sure we have them all. We have to complete our consultation and then collect payment. If yours is similar, then you can continue on with this process. If not, take a moment to think about it and reorganize it to best fit your business structure. To reorganize any of these workflow steps, all you have to do is click the arrow to go up or the arrow to go down, and that would reorganize it to best fit your business. Now that we have the organization of the automation set, we want to make sure that the naming is good. So let's now talk a little bit about that. Now we need to decide what is the correct names that we want to use, that all of our sales team are talking the same language. So as we can see here, we have the original title, which would be the default title that the system comes with, but you can change it so it can sound just like the way you and your sales team speak. To make any changes, you would use the pencil that's located right across from every workflow setting. In my case, I changed the need sales pitch from need sales pitch to called lead ASAP. You can do the same, and I'll show you how you can make any changes to this. So let's use, for example, billing data review. I would go into the pencil here, and then from in here, I can go to the name and I can switch it and maybe call it payment method. By doing this, I updated and changed the name. I can use the save button to save that record. And now we would see that the new name for it would be payment method versus versus billing data review. Now that we've verified that we have all the names that we want to use and it matches with our company's verbiage, now we're going to set up what we want to achieve at each and every one of these workflow steps. So I'm going to go into my one that says need sales pitch to use it as our first example. So I'm going to click the pencil to go into it, and here what I did was I have the name of this workflow step, I have a script, and this script can be used for many different ways, but this script would just let my team know what they have to do, and you can use it for that way also. You can advise your team what is the goal for this workflow step. Now, a great feature that we have is in each workflow step, you can apply tags or you can create a new tag and you can assign it to that workflow step. So by doing this, each time a salesperson is inside of that workflow step, they can, right from the step, click on the tag and it will automatically apply it to the lead. So I'm going to show you how you can either choose from the drop-down list or you can create a new one. So if we want to choose a pre-existing tag, we would just have to click right where it says search and add tags, and it would show us all of our tags. And then we can just click the plus sign and then it will automatically add it for us. Now, if we want to create a new tag, then what we would do is we would click the create new, and then from here we would create the tag name. So I'm going to call this lead called left message 3. And then what we want, we can add a description if we'd like. If not, then we can just click the save button to save this information. And then we'll see here below that the tag is not there, so we do need to add it. By clicking the search and add tag, go back through the list and click that plus sign to add it to our tags that are assigned to it. So basically what we're doing here is when the salesperson goes to this particular workflow step of lead called or need sales pitch, then it will show them the available tags that are there for them. Now the purpose of this is so that way they stay on one page. They don't have to navigate through to go to the tag area to apply the appropriate tag. And they can see the tags that are already applied to that lead based off of the workflow step that they're in. So we're going to be learning how to create a campaign around these tags to automate the sales process. And that's what we want to really do. We want to automate it to the point that we're not doing none of those steps. And we're going to classify them. And I already have one for left message 2, 1 and 2. So I'm going to show you how to create one for left message 3. But now let's save this so we can save it with the stuff that we've created in there. And once we've completed organizing it all, again, you can continue on going through all of them to create the tags for each one. And that way you can afterwards create all the campaigns at once. But think about all the steps that you need to do and make sure that they do go with what you need to automate your credit repair business. Now we're going to go into the campaigns by going to the configurations bubble, and we're going to go down to campaign. And then from here, we're going to see that I already have one for no contact left message 1 and no contact left message 2. So I'll show you how I built those out, and then I'll show you how to create the left message 3. So it's really simple. And I'm going to show you the process of these two. So I'm going to go right to the steps. This is the left message 1. And what I did was in the first step, I wanted an email communication to go out to the client. So the moment that salesperson leaves that tag, the email will go out. And then 2 days later, I want a to-do to be created. And a to-do would be a reminder for that salesperson to call this customer again. Sorry, this lead again, right? We want them to call and do that follow-up process. Now let's go back to the campaigns and let's look at no contact left message 2. And I'm just going to click here and let's go all the way to the steps again. Now the difference with this one is that the first step that I added on was the removal of the previous tag of left message 1. Now why did I do this? And the reason I did this is because I want to stop that campaign if it's still running, and or I want it to not be available anymore, just in case in the future this person decides to come back, we can reapply that tag at any moment. And what we did was we remove the tag, and we want that start day to represent 0 so it can go out immediately. And we want it to remove the tag that we talked about of left message 1. Now we're going to go into the next step, which is to leave the email. So that's basically the same process. We have the email that's going to go out immediately from the salesperson to the lead, and we have our template in there. And then our last one is the to-do, which is going to create the other follow-up process for the sales agent that's assigned to that lead to follow up with this person again after they made that second attempt to contact them. So this is basically the structure for this one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can create a new campaign. Okay, so we're going to create our new campaign by clicking create new at the top right corner, and the campaign we're going to be creating is the no contact left message 3. Basically what we're doing is just taking our next step of our automation and pushing it to the next forward. We want the category to be system, and then in the campaign type we want it to be a tag list because we're going to be using the tags. And then we can add a description if we like, or we can continue by clicking next. Now we have to assign the tag that's going to be part of this campaign. So look through your tag list and choose the appropriate tag. Then we're going to click on next, and we're going to start building out, and we're going to do the same function as we did with left message 2. We want to remove the tag, and I want the tag that we're going to be removing is lead called left message 2, right? Because now we're creating the third one. And then the start date, I want it to be immediately. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new step so that way we can add the communication. So we're going to add the email in there that we want the lead to get, and we want it to get it immediately. And then the step name, it's important for email communication really because we want to know what that email was. So when you're looking at the client's campaign area, the step name would just really tell you what email was sent out, and that would definitely be helpful in that area. Now we're going to choose who this is coming from. So we want it to be from the salesperson because the salesperson is the one that's attempting the contact out. So whoever the salesperson is assigned, that's who we want the email to come out from in this case. And then for the 2, we can choose everyone, or we have the option to choose lead if we'd like, or keep it under everyone, whichever, or whichever. It's more of a personal preference. Everyone means your lead and your customers, and just leads would be just for the lead. So in this case, we'll choose the lead option, and then we're going to choose our template. So you can click the drop down menu and choose between the template if you already have it created. If not, you're more than welcome to click that plus sign, and in that plus sign our template builder would show up for you where you can start creating your template on the fly. Make sure your template group, you always choose general template, and then you just start building out your template. If you don't know how to create the template, I'll pin a video up above so you can learn how to create a template. But since I already have a template there, we're good to go. Okay, so then I finished my campaign, and as you can see, it's paused. So now what we want to do is, the system does pause it because we don't want it to go out unless we're fully sure that this is good to go. So since we know it's good to go and it's ready to be executed, we can click the edit button at the top right corner, and we can just click the start, and then that campaign would be an active campaign. Now that we've done all that, I want to show you how you can implement this sales process automation to a lead. And this is just one of the workflow steps. Imagine doing it for all the workflow steps. So let's go to one of your leads that you may have in there. I'm just going to use this person as an example, and we're going to go into call lead ASAP, right? Which is previously known as need sales pitch in yours. And what I'm going to do is, our lead called this person. I'm in their contact information. They called, there was no answer. They're going to go to the next step, and here what they're going to do is apply that tag. So they're going to apply the tag left message 1, and it's going to automatically save. What is that doing? That's starting the automation process. It's communicating to the client. It's going to create the task or the to-do in a few days for them to follow up with this person. Because what happens? A salesperson tries to call someone, they didn't reach them, they're going to continue on to the next one. So what happens? They can get lost and forget about this person, and that's what we don't want. We don't want them to forget about this person. So this is going to help them keep track of that person. Now, how do we know that this is happening? What can they do to keep track of these people? With that to do, That's what's going to help them keep track of this person. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the dashboard, and I'm going to show you how they can keep track. So in the dashboard, they're going to have their to-do agenda. That's their calendar for the day, and all their to-dos are going to be in there. Now these to-dos, it's going to tell them when it was done. So as we can see here, this person had a to-do, and this is from a different lead, but it's telling them you have to follow up with this lead, do your second attempt to call them. Now if they've done this and they've completed this task, this to-do is done, then they have the option to, complete it if they wanted to. They can edit it if they need to. They can do their steps in there. And let's say that they've done it, we completed it, it's good to go. So that's how they can keep track, because they have to monitor that, right? And they can see that on a day-to-day basis. Now I'm gonna show you what would happen moving on to the next step. So let's say that 2 or 3 days later, based off of when the to-do was created, we want the salesperson to call again. They called. Unfortunately, there was no answer again. Our salesperson is going to go ahead and boom. That's what the salesperson is going to do. They're going to leave the second tag, left message 2. Now what we're going to do is we're going to see that both of the tags are there, but if we refresh this page, we're going to see that only the lead contact left message 1 is there. Okay, so then that's going to stop whatever was built into that other campaign, and it's going to start this new campaign. Okay, so just in case that campaign is pretty long, that's going to stop it, so that way the new campaign can start. Because again, I made a 1-step, but you can have a longer campaign, right? And it's basically up to you, but that's just going to help stop one to another. So I recommend when you're building these out to make sure that you document everything that you're doing. Take a spreadsheet, document your campaigns, so that way you know what has to start and stop and what campaign can affect the other. So I hope you enjoyed these examples, and this is just the automation for one of the workflow steps. Imagine implementing this on each and every one of them. So take the time to sit down and think of all of the manual tasks that you and your team do, and let's create a process. And I'm going to give you an example for credit monitoring. Let's say that you have someone that their username and password is not successful, or they haven't paid for their monthly subscription for their credit monitoring, and you have your team in there, and they're like, okay, well, now we have to, what's the following process? We're going to verify their login. Boom. Unfortunately, we have a problem with their credit monitoring. Well, we're going to apply the tag that their username and password is not correct. That's going to go ahead and send out the email and do all of the rest of that work. Maybe you can even have it set up where it sends a to-do or an email to the customer service representative to reach out to this person so the processor continue with their work. So that can all be set up, and that's just going to save time for everyone in the team. So think about all those things that you could do for each of the steps, or the things that you already do that takes up 5-10 minutes of your time, and then we can automate that, because 5-10 minutes here and 5-10 minutes there can go a long way. So I hope you enjoyed this video and you found this useful. If you have any questions, please comment down below or visit our website at ScoreCEO.com. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up if you like this video. Thank you.